Hello everyone! Happy holidays! Technically, I was supposed to have today off work, and yet I more or less ended up working the full day because things were on fire. But this is officially a new vlog. Yay! It's December 21st, so it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, except not at all. It is literally 76 degrees in Los Angeles because we broke the planet. I usually like that it's a little chilly during December in Los Angeles and sometimes we get rain, but no. California Christmas time is a surreal time, even in a good year, and yeah. My main little holiday activity has been paint by numbers. I've just fallen into it. I find it really soothing. You saw my other one at the end of my last vlog, and this vlog I'm working on Van Gogh Starry Night because why not? It was a birthday gift from my aunt. But we're going to seriously attempt reading and writing in this reading and writing vlog. Mostly writing. I'm going to write. Legitimately. So my plan is I have the rest of the week off work. I mean, seriously, like, I hope I don't accidentally end up working for the rest of this week. I should have real time off, allowing my brain to like settle and switch into writing mode, basically. I feel like I've been in editing mode for a really long time. I just finished a nonfiction book. I finished the Diana Chronicles, which yes, I read because of The Crown, but sometimes when I'm reading nonfiction, it can be good for drafting and writing fiction, but very often I need a good fiction kick to kick me back into fiction writing mode. And I just binge read a Mary Kubica book. I kind of had mixed thoughts about it, but like I'm back into like a thriller binge reading cycle, which bodes well for my writing. I'm trying to intentionally pick things as best I can. They're gonna evoke a certain mood for me because, so my goal for this week, I'm saying it in a vlog, which means I'm gonna have to make an actual effort to like film B-roll of it and actually do the thing. Though I find the thing with the free write is that I don't find it helps to do fake B-roll, so if you see me writing on that, that is not fake B-roll, that is real B-roll, so you heard it here. But I want to actually hit my 2020 goal. I just watched that back and filmed a reaction, which will have been up for a very long time by the time you see this, but of getting to the break into 2 in my new YA thriller. I'm so close to it. Like the words that I got in November, the lovely 1,000 words, inched me closer. Like I have the character so close to the scene where they find a body. I'm so close to murdering someone. And so I think it's attainable and realistic that this week, while I have some time off and I'm trying to relax, that I do a couple word sprints, that I try to get some word count in a couple days in a row to try to push through that part. And then in the new year, I'm gonna seriously be drafting the rest of this book. So I say it now so it's real. This writing vlog is actually going to have writing in it. What a novelty. Treat yourself 2020. My birthday present to myself came in the mail. Here's a cat. Hi. I am excited to open this. It's related to the channel. Ta-da! I got a new mic for my YouTube setup because my other one, the mic itself didn't break, but like the holdy thingy that connected it to the camera broke, which means worse audio quality. And I was like, well, I could buy the same one or I could upgrade. I did a lot of research and I decided, treat yourself 2020. My birthday present to myself is a microphone. I cannot wait to get this set up because I am filming today. He legit does this all the time. Just like, pet me. I love you. Purr, 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 purr. It's raining. My Christmas wish came true days after Christmas. I know I'm weird, but I love rain. It's so bad. The wind knocked my plant over last night, but Teddy's fine with it. Don't worry, it is a fake plant. It is plastic, because I would probably kill it if it were real. Happy almost New Year. It's December 31st, and today I come to you not eating a salad as in the past, but quiche. This is from Trader Joe's. I mean, obviously I have the actual food. Highly recommend. If you are not really an eggy person, but like you can kind of do scrambled eggs / quiche, like you do kind of have to be able to do a quiche. Highly recommend this broccoli and cheddar cheese quiche. You microwave it, takes like 4 minutes. It is the only egg product I will really eat. I'm just not an egg person. I never have been. There are whole ass preparations of eggs that'll make me like vomit a little bit in my mouth. Like I actually kind of get a gag reflex from them. It's not great, but it's my life. Yet eggs are so good for protein, and so I was like, I need to find something eggy that I'm willing to eat for the sake of upping my protein without having to shove meat into my mouth all the time. So cheers. So your first question I know is, did you do more raining in 2020? It's December 31st. You said you were going to. No. I guess there's still time today, but honestly, work's been really stressful generally. I mean, my Q4 was a little bit bonkers. Not the first time my Q4 has been bonkers, but the first time my Q4 has been bonkers, and I've been in a pandemic and not able to leave my house. And so actually what we're gonna do here, we're gonna do a little get ready with me. I'm gonna put on my makeup because I'm filming videos today. We're gonna do some unboxings of some things that I ordered because I can't stop ordering things, but we're also gonna talk about the onset of my grandma hobbies, which is so like pandemic mood. So you wanna know what I've been doing? Much like the last vlog, I've been doing paint by numbers, but in this one, I'm actually remembering to film some of it, so you've probably already seen some of this B-roll, but check out where I am with Starry Night. It's coming along. Not bad. $9.99 on sale, but I think the regular price is like $14. Michael's by Artist Loft. My one pro tip is get your own brushes. The ones that come with it kind of suck. The one I found that's magic, and it's so magic that I've kind of abused it that I'm gonna need to get a new one. It's this one. I bought it for a couple of bucks a while ago. Artist Loft Vienna round brush in size 0. So I have found this is my paint by numbers brush, and I'm probably gonna have to get another one, and I might get a smaller size from the same brand. And I found that it's much better than the ones that come with the paint by numbers. They kind of look like this, and they're just like the cheapest cheap brushes you can buy. And thus I find I don't get the same control with these to really get the colors and like the little details right. But roll on, Grandma Habits, because what is the other thing that I placed an order for that I'm about to get into? Puzzles. Yeah, you're like, what? So a friend of mine has gotten really into puzzles, and I tried it out. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna try puzzles. So I bought 2,000-piece jigsaw puzzles. I'm waiting for a puzzle board. I ordered a puzzle board, not like one of the intense, really like huge, expensive ones, because those do exist, but I got one that I thought would work for my needs, one that's gonna protect the puzzle from the cats. And yeah, I'm about to just be that person who sits in front of her TV and works on 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles, because that is what my brain needs right now. I need things, and you're probably feeling this way too, and if you are and you're not rectifying it, I seriously recommend some of the things I'm trying. It's what I'm getting out of paint by numbers. It's what I'm getting out of puzzles. it's something, it's ordered and it requires focus, but it's a very specific kind of focus. It's not a focus that is too stressful or emotionally draining. The puzzle tells you what to do because the pieces only go in certain places. The paint by numbers literally tells you what to do, but it's still like pretty and I'm being productive, but it's like control to the chaos, and that is what I need right now. I'm even finding I can't even concentrate on simple video games. Like video games I've been playing for years that used to be stress relievers for me. I cannot order my brain long enough to even get a good game started, which is a huge bummer because I was really into like Anno in the fall, and there's a new expansion pack that came out in November for that, a new DLC, and it's really good and I want to play it. I cannot focus on Anno for more than like 30 minutes, and it's the kind of game that you play for like 8 to 10 hours at a time. So it's just a huge bummer, and I've tried a couple of the other city builders that I usually can get into. It's not working, so puzzles. Here's the puzzle I've been working on. That's been like my last week. Working on the ocean. Tackling sky, which is definitely the hardest part. You can see on the box, it's just like a sea of purple. So that's what I'm gonna do last. Happy New Year! I can't remember if I said that already, because I don't know the last time I filmed. Who knows? Anyway, Happy New Year twice, if that's necessary. Or Happy January 5th. It is January 5th, and shit is getting real. First of all, my granny shit is getting real, because if you would like to know what I have been doing for approximately the last week, like what is the newest hobby on my ledger, it's puzzles. I actually do think I mentioned this in the last video. The granny shit's getting real, which you know because I will have inserted some fabulous b-roll of me working on a jigsaw puzzle. I hope you really enjoyed that cat ASMR break. There might be more in the video. I've been trying very hard to vlog, but shit's getting real. Like, writer shit is getting real. So, hopefully you know by now, because I mean this won't post unless you know by now, I sold another book. Yay! I did have to keep it a little bit close to the vest. I found out, I think it was late November, and we closed our deal memo in early to mid-ish December, which basically means my agent went back and forth with my editor about terms and they agreed on them. We haven't done our contract yet, but like it's a real book deal, essentially. Like we agreed to what the publisher is willing to do. I am very happy and excited. I really like my editor. I am so jazzed and relieved that she apparently likes me enough to want to work with me again. And not only work with me again, but this poor soul is gonna work with me on a first draft. She read my 30K partial, which is Act 1, where no one died, and she was okay enough with it to buy the book. So that's good. So shit is real. I have a season and a deadline. We've like started having those conversations. We didn't before the holidays because I am not a monster, and this is my general pro tip to you. I know that we as authors get very kind of anxious and we want to know things, and we just like want to shoot off emails to our publishers or our publicists or whatnot. My advice is to always be very mindful of time of the year. I was not going to be asking the big questions right before December in the year of our Lord 2020. And same thing, I have things I have been wanting to email publicity about regarding the Ivies for several weeks, and I'm a big girl who has declined to send that email yet because I want to give the poor soul in publicity who's going to have to deal with me. I mean, I think I'm nice to work with, but I mean, I'm intense, right? I'm waiting. She needs a few days to catch up after the winter holidays, catch up on email. Plus, my book doesn't come out till late May. But that's just my advice. It's not about kind of policing you as an author, and you should be engaged and involved, but there's like a really thin line between being like really pleasant to work with and on top of things, and they love how engaged you are, and annoying them with just a very poorly timed yet slightly demanding or needy email. So yeah, shit's real though. So tentatively, drumroll, my next YA thriller will be out in fall 2022. That's the season for Random House, my publisher. They basically only have 3. They do spring, summer, fall. But they also love to do things super ahead of time. And this is where I know it's incredibly foreign if you're not already kind of involved in traditional publishing or even just house to house, because there are some publishers who will have a much shorter window between an author turning in a draft, copy editing, and final copies. But Random House loves really long lead time. So the book has to be finished a ridiculously long time ahead of when it's actually going to be published, typically 12 to 18 months. And you're like, excuse me? But it means that I still have to write the majority of this book. Thus, we had to consider what was actually realistic for me to write 60,000 words and then edit a 90 to 100K manuscript with my editor to get it all shiny for copy edit. So we worked backwards from copy edit deadlines. So fall of 2022, which means I have approximately 3 months to write the rest of this book. So the planner is coming out. I just realized something horrifying, but also okay. I need a new planner. There aren't enough spreads in this to do for consecutive months. So hold on. I've somehow ended up without a usable planner. The one I've been using doesn't have enough spreads, and the one I thought I could use as a backup has a different format and won't make me happy, and my other old one doesn't have enough spreads, so I'll be buying a new planner. So, well, we're gonna have to wait for that planning and that B-roll. How could I be a writer who doesn't have enough planners? Like, that feels like a design flaw, and it's bonkers because like I just went looking. I could have sworn I had one. It's probably somewhere in this apartment. It's not even that large of an apartment, but it's easier just to buy a new planner, so hold that thought. Well, despite that setback, I am still gonna start writing. As like, I need a deadline to function, I suppose, because as soon as like we really started talking season and deadlines, I started going, okay, so how are you actually gonna get through this next section of your book that you have been putting off for several months? And I had some thoughts, and I also was like, what happens after that? And I had some thoughts. So once I do have a planner that I can actually build out and talk about, you will get to see more of the thought process for this thriller. Though as always, it's just going to be really tricky doing that spoiler free, but I know what my next step is, other than I know how to write the next scene, and I have a vague idea of exactly what my character will do immediately following that, where someone's gonna die, but then I know exactly what happens next. I'm gonna start my bullet pointed list. This is how I push through my acts too. I have a synopsis, so I know what happens in this book, but the excitement for me of discovery writing bit by bit, they're basically mini outlines. That's essentially what they are. They get me a couple chapters at a time, and they're not what happens in the chapter, but I do a bullet pointed list. Some of these I also call questions and answers and more questions, and I talked about this in different videos where it's like, okay, what are the questions that this character has, the natural questions that would be raised, and what would their next steps be? What are the things I need them to find out because I know what end game is or mid game? And then I basically look at that list and I work through my bullet pointed list or my list of questions to write section to section to section. So you're about to be with me for the worst part of the book, which is Act 2. Also the best part of the book. This is going to be really challenging. I have set myself quite a challenge. There's a lot of balls up in the air for this one, and there's going to be a lot of red herrings and characters involved. So, well, there was almost a coup today, so that was a thing. I actually turned on the news for the first time in a very long time, such a millennial. So that happened today, and I finished my puzzle. I'm gonna show you. And the next step is dismantling it because I gotta start another one. It's this like weirdly emotional feeling. And there was almost a coup today. So yeah. Ooh, puzzle. Let me show you the tragedy of the single missing edge piece. Clearly I lost it at some point, and I haven't been able to find it. So yeah, look, attempted coup, been watching all day. What is happening? So yeah, and I'm gonna start a new puzzle. Ravensburger's supposed to be the best, so I'm gonna go to Paris next. There was just a knock at the door. It's my planner. Let's open it. Here it is. I love the packaging. Ooh, Clever Fox has really upgraded their packaging over the years. I already kind of know how it works. Ta-da! You can see this is actually, there are only 2 colors in stock. And since I was caught unawares of the whole not having a proper planner thing, I went with this one. The good news is, I love this color. Ooh, So it comes with stickers. They've vastly expanded their stickers since the last time I got one of these, which I'm kind of super excited about. Ooh, shiny. Open it up. Christ, new planner. There it is. This is what I'm all about. So I am going to fill this out. I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow, because it is 4:55 p.m. on Saturday the 9th, and the sun is already setting. So I really want to plan now. I'm itching for it. It's actually apropos. I opened my free write. I wrote words today. I don't know how many, but I forced myself to write. And so the next step is filling this out, laying out the next couple months of writing I'm gonna do, get myself all set up. I'm also gonna do a spread for the timeline of the book, I think. I actually did it for the Ivies, and it backfired in like a slightly hilarious way, which I can talk about later. But yeah, I'm excited to use this planner in this way. This is a fresh planner for The Murder Turducken, which is the new, my new YA thriller, and I have 30,000 words of it, and I need to write another 60,000 words in the next 3 months, so let's do it. It's after 4 on Sunday the 11th, so it's like a late lunch for me. But I had a live stream for a few hours on Laura's channel, so I had like brunch, so I wouldn't be too hungry. Now I gotta scarf this salad while thinking about my book. The reason I was like, turn on your camera, I started like thinking through process and what I need to do as I was making my salad, and I realized, once again, I'm losing the light. It's fine for filming this, but I can't film the planner part yet. And actually it's January 10th, which I just realized, because you know, AMM opens on the 11th, and that hasn't happened yet, so that has to happen today too. Very stressful. Anyway, this book. So I did some writing yesterday, and I did some writing yesterday after realizing I'd started doing some writing the day before. Like I like wrote 1 paragraph, a couple lines. Then I realized I had forgotten something quite critical about it's a homecoming activity, because yeah, I'm doing some homecoming here in this. You know, there's a homecoming queen, a dead homecoming queen. So yesterday I course corrected. I was like, oh, I have to write that thing. Got a couple good solid paragraphs out of it, so I got some word counting yesterday. I don't know exactly how much though. Now I figured out that free write will actually do word count. It's a Wonderland toy. I'm learning so much about it. But it means that this scene that I've been working on, it's the one I got like 1,000 words of during Nano. It needs some work, and it's a critical crux point for the novel period. This is leading me to my break into 2. And I have to like batten down the hatches and really do this because we're getting into me writing every day and working toward a deadline. So what I need to do, I'm gonna take what I wrote in the free write, I'm gonna load it into Scrivener, I'm going to do an edit pass on it, I need to smooth it out, I need to like make it real, basically. And this is definitely gonna be like a growing pain. This is me kind of figuring out exactly what my process is going to be using this, you know, piece of tech. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna create my first section checklist. I need to create a list of things I know I need to do, things I need to address, kind of spitball and try to organize my ideas for the next section, which is going to be leading into my break into 2, which will essentially give me my writing roadmap for the next week. I want to do that today so that I can kind of get my momentum going, because I ultimately didn't do that this weekend and I really should have, but the week is not over, so I can still do it because I have to get into a daily writing habit on this project. So I'm going to do that. But even as I was chopping up my salad, I was brainstorming. I was like, okay, so you find a dead body, what's the next step? And I was thinking about the next step, you know, the cops show up. I was like, okay, how can I connect who are gonna be new characters? This book has a lot of characters so far, so how can I be efficient in my storytelling? And I'm like brainstorming, like, is the sheriff related to someone? And so I'm making those choices. It's gonna go in that bullet pointed list, essentially kind of an outline. It's a roadmap, to guide me through writing the next section. There's a bit of a fog. I know the immediate steps my character is going to take after finding the body. And I have to decide what her first point of decision is going to be from that. It's literally the break into 2. She's gonna make the conscious decision to solve a murder, because why wouldn't a random 17-year-old be able to solve this murder? You know, this is the leap we get from YA thrillers. She has a very good reason to want to solve this murder. I do know what it is. I think people are gonna like it. You're gonna find out when I announce the pitch, probably, but I'm still refining exactly how we're going to announce and pitch this book. So, I mean, by the time you watch this, you'll know. And we'll see, but yeah, I'm gonna do that. Something I also know that I really need to do, I haven't actually read any of this material since I completed my proposal, and so I think I need to read it from start to finish. I think that's what's actually gonna get me in the groove, and since I finally finished the book I had to read for the craft discussion, I will probably send my Word doc, my draft, to my Kindle tonight, and I'll probably, if I don't read it tonight, I'll read it tomorrow night. I think that's gonna really help me with my momentum to re-familiarize myself with the characters, to remind myself about what I love about the story. I was really vibing on it in August. It just kind of fell away because my day job got increasingly stressful and I could no longer balance fast drafting. So yeah, I just need to forge those reconnections. I know they're there because I know especially the last couple chapters I wrote, I really was enjoying the tension that I was building. Those are the chapters I wrote after I had figured out what is going to be one of my big kind of twisty things in Act 2, and I get to write that still, so there's definitely that thread of excitement. So that is my plan right now. The chaos of Act 2. And check out the progress I've made on my current puzzle. Ooh, yes, the cats have knocked this over at least once. So let's just hope I haven't lost any pieces. randomly hit some keys on the free write trying to get it to do one thing and discovered that it counts your words. Discovering something new every single day, man. So I spent the last 2 nights writing like a good girl. I filmed a tiny bit of it, as you see. I wrote 1,027 words on the 11th and 597 words last night, the 12th. And last night was actually really hard. I really struggled, but I was like, try to hit 600 words. I mean, I almost got there, because my breakdown is that if I write 600 words a day or 4,615 a week, I will be able to write 60,000 words in the next 3 months. Great. And it was really slow going. It wasn't coming. And sometimes you have those sorts of writing sessions and it's just the moment and you push through it. But this was a fascinating phenomenon for me, and why I wanted to film and what I want to talk about is, so with all my discovery writing, I almost never go back and delete things that I've written because, you know, I've gone down the wrong path. And I realized last night and this morning, I went down the wrong path. Only for a single chapter, part of a chapter, mostly what I wrote last night, but basically how it was I killed that girl on Monday night. It felt so good. I actually really like what I ended up writing and how I kind of end it. I had to push myself to make it feel tonally different and like prose line level different from a similar body discovery scene in the Ivies. My 2 characters are very different people and the victims mean different things to the different people, but they definitely have similarities, except they're very different. So I worked tonally to hopefully have that land differently. And I was kind of vibing on the mood, and I was thinking, well, what do you do right after you've discovered a body? It's a pretty terrible thing to have happen. And I knew the specific the next step I need my character to take from an investigation point of view, like the thing that's gonna push them to the break into 2. I know what that is, and this chapter I'm on right now is that break into 2 chapter. And I furiously wrote on that Monday night like 300, 400 words of that. And you know, it's interesting writing, but I kept going. And yeah, I think I did it wrong. This is very rare for me, as I said. And I kind of hate even sharing it because people go, this is the problem with Pantsinger Discovery Writer, except very unusual for me. And what I think it is that I'm gonna have to backtrack. I'm basically gonna delete a little over 1,000 words, maybe not right away, because some of it I can repurpose, but like, so I have a breakfast table scene. I have to change the tone of the scene, the tone of what is being said to my main character, because I realized I don't have the tension in this chapter that I want to have, that I need to have in order for the break into 2 and the launch into the investigation to work. I messed up my tension essentially. And this is part, I mean, it's hard. It makes sense because I know what's going on and I know what needs to happen. But I basically realized I have to pull back a little on what people know this close to the discovery of a body to add a little bit of tension. And I think it's because I've never gone this long being away from a project. So I wrote 12,000 words of it, didn't work on it for a year. Then this year, pretty recently in the summer, I got it from 12K to 30K, and then I turned that in to my editor, and it's basically sat. I haven't really actively worked on it since September. This is one of the longest stretches I've gone, and then had to go back to a draft other than of course that year. But like 12K, like you're early enough that like it's fine. But 30K, having to pick up where I left off, going into the hardest act and making sure that it fires on all cylinders, I think I'm still basically like I'm on the runway, getting ready to take off. And I'm still happy that I attempted daily drafting, but like realistically, it probably means I shouldn't have written yesterday, except I don't think I could have figured out what the right direction was without going in the wrong direction. And it's a minor detour. So that's where I am. I wanted to share, you know, my attempt to be decent at writing vlogs. So my aim tonight is to backtrack. and start over. And it's just basically kind of realigning my thoughts. And the thing is, I actually have the final line of the Break Into Two chapter. I wrote that on Monday, and I basically have to change how I get there because I told you my bullet point list. I wrote it yesterday, but I'm refining it today and this week of the logical, like I have to think, who is this character? What is her logical next step? And especially I really want to play with in the Ivies, my main character loves Law and Order SVU. And so she kind of goes into things with, and she's also like shown to be a very ambitious, intelligent person. So I kind of like played off of that suspension of disbelief of like, sure, you believe that Olivia's very aware of police procedure and like it's always the husband and like those sorts of tropes. But Cecilia is a very different character. That is her name. And I want her to be a different character. I've purposefully set her up. I mean, compared to Olivia, certainly. Olivia was a lower middle class student from Maryland who goes to this fancy boarding school on a scholarship and is really like fighting and clawing her way, trying to, you know, she's ambitious. She wants to do well. She wants to go to Harvard. Cecilia is not that kind of character. I want Cecilia to be, I mean, just a more normal teenager who's thrown into extreme circumstances. And so I realized it can't be as obvious to her what happens when someone dies and how the investigation would proceed and how she would manage her own investigation. I'm gonna make it a lot more dynamic and fun. I'm definitely playing with sidekicks in this one because friendship is the theme of this. Again, the opposite of the Ivies. I'm going from writing toxic friend group to, I hope, a very supportive and interesting found family kind of dynamic. It's definitely kind of this group of teens solving a murder. So basically what I wrote was more like her having singular focus and knowing exactly what she thinks is going on. And what I have to rejig is this chapter is going to work better if it's a slower realization of maybe I should investigate this murder. So that's where I am, and that's what I'm going to be doing. I was going to film a normal video, but I can't because in the apartment above me, I guess they're doing something with the pipes because my bathroom is back here. And it's been like that for over an hour. Yeah. But I thought between attempts I would film a vlog update. So I successfully managed to backtrack. I wrote about 1,000 words in one stretch. And it felt better. It was like I had settled back into the tone that I knew that I was going for. It felt like a more natural progression, and I was able to insert the tension that I really need for a Break Into Two back into it. I had just gotten a little bit ahead of myself. So that was Wednesday the 13th. On Thursday the 14th, I only wrote 200 words. What I did is I took what I had written in the free write and I kind of popped it into Microsoft Word. I combed over it, I cleaned it up, I added literally 200 words to it and kind of set myself up, teed myself up for the next writing jog that I knew that I would do. So then last night, the 15th, I actually didn't write my word count down, so I'm gonna do it right now. I wrote 788 words. So I made up for not quite 200 of the words that I was off on the 14th, because if my goal every day is to write 600 words, then that means I'm at a 400 word deficit now, more like a 200 word deficit, which means today, realistically, I'm probably gonna shoot for, I'm gonna shoot for 1,000 words. I think 1,000 words would be really good, but it's a 3-day weekend, and historically 3-day weekends have been my jam. Like on every book I've ever written, I think I tend to be a winter spring book writer. For some reason, that is like the time of year that I have consistently done my first drafts, and MLK weekend and then President's Day weekend are often two of my best writing weekends of the year, or at least they're ones that feel productive. So I'm excited about a 3-day weekend, though my question for myself is, how does that work now that we're home? all the time. Was that a phenomenon that only existed because it was a delightful 3-day weekend breaking up an otherwise normal social life and going to work and everything? But regardless, I hope for this to be a big word weekend, knock on wood. All right, they're definitely doing work upstairs. Okay, I hope nothing's broken. That's not something I wanted to share. I really should have shared it last night, but like, no regrets. I don't like showing you my busted ass face at 11 o'clock at night. It ain't cute, which is why I'm telling you today when I've already done my makeup for filming. Ooh, I do want to share. I love my eye makeup today. I don't know if you can see it because like when I take my glasses off, I can't see. Let's see how this looks. Can you see that? Ooh, ah. And put my glasses back on. Because, of course I have hooded eyes, so like half the look does disappear when I open my eyes. The reason is, I did it for my new shirt. Look, it's from Torrid, of course it is, but it's got shiny holographic cocktails on it. I bought this 100% for the pattern, and Torrid actually had it in a shirt and in a dress. The dress was twice as expensive as the shirt, and normally I would get the dress because I would wear the dress out, but since we're in quarantine and we don't leave and it doesn't really matter what I wear, I actually more often than not have been throwing on just tops to do things. So I bought the top and it cost half as much because I just wanted the pattern for video. Isn't that sad? Like, the clothing decisions I make now are based off of no one's gonna see me except for on video, whether it's a Teams chat for work or a Zoom conference or these YouTube videos. So yeah, it's my cocktail celebration shirt. Because today I finally filmed my video about my book deal before they started whatever work they're doing upstairs, which is good timing, which is a rambly mess. But I mean, obviously this vlog's gonna go up after that because I get to post this vlog because now it's public. And so I had a call with my editor yesterday and it was really, really nice. I have of course talked to my editor before, but like now we've gone through the baptism by fire of doing a whole ass book together, a book that is going out in the world. And so it was just really nice to have, well, a call. I mean, she's gonna work with me on this book almost from conception to completion because she got it as a proposal. I mean, 30,000 words of it, and I'd flesh it out into a synopsis, but it was so great. We had a really good call yesterday, just talking about, she told me the things that she really loved about it. She gave me permission to chew the scenery more, which is a dangerous notion, but I'm very excited. She's loving the atmosphere and the vibe, which is exactly what I was going for. This book, it's something that I love about small town secrets books. A good small town secrets book is as much about the atmosphere and the tone and a town being a character as anything else, and it's definitely what I'm going for. She had some ideas to actually make the book darker, and I was like, thank you. But like, I had actually made a tweak to the synopsis, to the plan for the book, in order to make it a little less dark because I was worried that the ending as planned would be too bleak and, you know, rewrite YA. And my editor was like, what do you think about getting rid of that? And I was like, yes, but I'm impressed with how kind of dark you are. So that was really, really fun. It was a good call. I feel very energized. She has complete faith in me, and I'm like, great. That's great. It was also nice because she reiterated that, like, yeah, we have a deadline, but it's like a little flexible. Like, we can, you know, we can troubleshoot if I need extra time, though I'm really feeling good about drafting, but it's nice because it relieves the pressure, because if I have like a really bad work week and I just can't write for a few days, it's not going to be a total crisis point. There's wiggle room in terms of the timing for this book, and it was just really nice to get on the same page. And then the other thing I wanted to share, because what I hope to do in these writing vlogs, like, I need to get better at filming myself in the moment, but like, I'm not gonna stick a camera in front of my face when I do dishes, which is what I did last night, which is what helped me have a breakthrough on this section I was writing. And I've advocated in the past about like, take a shower, go for a walk. Dishes are like my new thing. So prior to the pandemic, I just didn't do dishes that often. And you're like, it's because I ate a lot of takeout for the pandemic, so I wasn't using my dishes as often. But now that I am not only home all the freaking time. But now that I'm trying to eat just a little cleaner, like I've upped my protein and my vegetables and I've lowered my carbs and my sugars, that means my new MO is I only get takeout once a week, which is also better for my bank account. But it means I use dishes and utensils all the time, and I have like cooking dishes and utensils that I use now. So I have to do dishes all the freaking time. Plus I drink coffee every day now with the pandemic. So like I have this rotation of coffee mugs and I have to do the dishes. I mean, 2 to 3 days is pushing it. Like I should really do them every day, but I do them basically every other day. But it's this 10 to 20 minute stretch of, you know, it's just like it's the water's running and I have the dish one or I have the sponge and I'm scrubbing and washing, and it's giving me the same vibes as a shower. This like productive thing, but you can kind of zone out a little bit while you were doing it. And so I basically finished writing for the day yesterday, and I finished at 600 words. It was like 612 words, and I felt kind of stuck. Not stuck. I knew what I needed to write immediately after the scene. So as you know, I rewrote the break into 2 because I needed to get my character to the point. Basically, the break in the 2 is the choice to go on the journey. And the journey in this case is investigating a murder. And I'm leading her up to that point. That's what I'm in right now. But I changed some of the breadcrumbing, some of the arc of the lead up. And I have her in a scene with another character, and I know that that character is her sidekick, her main investigation sidekick. That is a B-plot mechanism. And so I know what happens next in the sense of like, well, they're gonna talk about it. But what I didn't know when I got up to wash the dishes and I was like, let's finish this for the night. You have until tomorrow, today, Saturday, to figure out what you're gonna do next. And I do that sometimes, and you're like, this discovery writing is very stressful. I enjoy it. I enjoy that it's like, well, I'll sleep on something, or the next day, like I will take a shower to like have that space. And I know that when push comes to shove, I very rarely go more than 24 hours without figuring out what I'm going to do. I have confidence in my push through skills. So I go to wash dishes and I'm just washing dishes and I start almost against my own will. It wasn't intentional, but this is a thing I do. Tell me if you do this too. I mean, full disclosure, I talk to myself. I mean, I live alone with cats. Who cares? That's why vlogging. It's like you're talking to yourself, but you're talking to a camera. But this is an anxiety mechanism as well. I've always talked to myself through anxiety. I will talk myself through checklists. So I will very often, like if I'm feeling anxious about my work day the next day, for example, like my day job, I will talk myself through when I'm brushing my teeth or going to bed, like, it's okay. These are the things you have to do tomorrow. You're gonna start with this, and then I will checklist myself through things to quell my anxiety. And so I do that with my stories all the time, and that's often what's happening in the shower. But I started doing it while I was doing the dishes, and I was like, okay, your character is here. You need her to be here. What logically would push her to that point? Right now, the explanation that you're sitting with is really flimsy. You're gonna have to have something really concrete, because otherwise it's not organic. You have to give your character organic things to react to, especially in a thriller. It cannot come out of left field of like, which is where I was kind of sitting at the moment of like, oh, well, it's kind of this, maybe I'll go here. That's not gonna work. And I thought, well, what it would push my character, it's her first point of investigation. And the first point of investigation is really, really critical in a thriller because it has to be obvious as shit. It has to be an answer, a solution that naturally arises from the facts available to the character at the time, but also informed by the type of person they are. It is the first place they go, it is the first person they talk to, and it has to set off the dominoes of everything else. All the sleights of hand you're gonna do in Act 2. It's terrifying. And I was like, I don't have a good reason. I don't actually have a good first point of investigation. I basically was like, I need a specific person who needs to have been suspicious before that gives her a reason to go talk to that person / check out that place where that person is. And I was like, well, what if that person is the first person to show up after she discovers the body? Duh. So I usually do not backtrack in my writing, But again, because I let this sit for such a long period of time, and it's my first experience coming back to something that I submitted on proposal, that I sold on proposal, I am actually going to backtrack to the last chapter. So that last chapter is the chapter where the character died, and the current chapter I'm in is the break into two chapter. So that current chapter, the previous chapter where someone died, I wrote the first third of it in September. I wrote the first third of it in September, didn't touch it. Then I wrote a little bit of it in November, my nano words, and then I wrote the end of it this week. So it's this weird bridge chapter that straddles September to January. And so I'm giving myself the allowance and the permission. I'm gonna go back over it. That's something I'm gonna do today, and find the points where I can artfully insert this character who needs to be the first point of investigation to thread it. And I will likely do more threading with that character. It's a character who already exists when I revise Act 1 later. So I'm only gonna backtrack one chapter, not farther than that, because then you get into the weeds, just to tee myself up for the next section that I'm going to write. I mean, come hell or high water, I'm gonna write it this weekend, just thinking about this weekend and the word counts that I wanna get. So that is my plan. And so you're seeing like the genesis of this book. It's like, it's some good chaos. Like, I'm enjoying it. And it's a really interesting process on this one, and I'm just kind of trusting the process. I think things are allowed to be a little bit different in this case. And it is a weird case because it's pure discovery writing, especially for Act 2, but because of the proposal, it's all in the synopsis. I still have to finish bringing myself up to speed, rereading the proposal that I had submitted. I read the first 3 chapters and it gave me enough of a brainwave of kind of like what I wanted to do to push forward, which is good. But I want to finish reading the rest because there's some good material in there that I know is going to inform what I'm going to write in Act 2, because those are the characters who are going to show up in Act 2, and I'm figuring out kind of who is who and what their secrets are and red herrings, and you're like, chaos, chaos, chaos. This is how I work. It's fun. Like, I just need to know enough. Like, I know what the motives are, but I don't always know who has that motive. And then it's kind of like, it's attaching things and creating really interesting dynamics. And I love the spontaneity that therefore I'm able to have. And what I love is like, yeah, I hadn't thought, oh, this character should do something before she finds the body that's going to trigger something that becomes her first point of investigation. But I like that I got to have this cool creative moment washing the dishes last night. And so the first thing I did, like, I've like finished washing the dishes and I ran to my computer and I wrote out a bullet pointed list of basically the next 3 to 4 chapters, like 2 to 3 chapters of what the cause and effect now that I have the first domino of what I need to do. So I'm feeling very good about the next section, and let's do this thing. So we've reached the fashion eyeliner stage of quarantine where I'm like, all those gel eyeliners I could just never get into, yet kept buying because I said to myself, you love turquoise, you love purple. Well, now I put that on as eyeliner instead of my black winged liner, and I'm just so pleased with it. This is like some old julep eyeliners that I was shocked still would do anything. So that's where we are. It's Thursday, January 21st, and I know that I need to wrap this vlog up. I have been editing it all week. It is long. In fact, I'm gonna cut some things and you're not even gonna know what I cut. You're gonna be like, what did she cut? It's gonna like be some unboxing filler and whatnot, and you're like, aw. And I did actual writing during this vlog, except in the back half of the vlog, and have to make room for actual writing content. So The holiday weekend went very well for me. Not like my best 3-day weekend ever, because on Saturday I only wrote 288 words, but I also spent like 3 hours editing this vlog and like 2 hours collectively editing 2 other videos. I mean, that's like prime procrastination. But the next day, Sunday, I wrote 2,503 words. Yay. And then on Monday, I had to push myself again. You know, some days you just get a vibe and you hope that you get the vibe the next day, and I got really stuck on Monday, but I pushed myself to write 1,144 words, so that my weekend total hovered between 3,500 and 4,000, which is a very strong, healthy weekend for me. It's a good 3-day stretch period. Then Tuesday, I was really jazzed. I wrote 1,085 words, and I like kind of started the session going, I'm really not gonna push myself. It's okay, because I received my second pass pages on Tuesday. So my publisher combed through the manuscript over and over again, and we did a whole first pass that was really, really intense. That was, if I didn't include it, I think I did include it in my November vlog, at least I alluded to it, that, oh gosh, it was intense, a lot of work, because I read every single word of the manuscript again. But this time I'm only responding to about 143 queries. I'm not actually responding to all of them. A bunch of them are like, this is the last one, like a comma here. Oh, we caught a typo here. And just a few spots where there are things that I actually have to address. Like they have a question about something like, ooh, can we switch this word for this word? Do you mean this? And I actually, last night, Wednesday, I did the biggest chunk of that. I'm almost done. I don't have that many to do tonight because my editor wants it back tomorrow. So last night I was like, okay, because I had already spent several hours on not several hours, I spent like an hour on past pages. And so I said, tonight you can go easy on yourself on writing. And I actually had the moment of like, you don't have to write tonight, you're fine. But I was like, no. Write a little bit so that you don't break your streak. So I wrote about 235 words, which isn't a lot, but when you combine it with the day before, so if my daily average I want to hit is 600, I did 1,000 the day before and then 200 yesterday. Over a 2-day period, I broke even. Which brings us to today, Thursday, and wrapping up this vlog. I feel really good, in a really good space. When I started writing, I was a little over 31,000 and I'm really close to 40,000 now, which means in just kind of the space of a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, I've written almost 10,000 words, which is very good for me. I'm on track to hit my goals for the month. I feel like I'm back in the vibe of this manuscript. There are some touch and go moments, but I've basically written 3 chapters, essential chapters that are really pushing action forward, and I'm really about to dive into the weeds. So this is where I shall leave you for now. Second pass page is almost done. Getting in the groove. I'm in Act 2. Act 2 is happening, and yeah, I'm just so happy that this was actually a writing vlog. So I'd love to know down below in the comments how you are doing on your latest projects, anything in this that you thought was fun or interesting. Give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and I will continue to attempt to be decent at writing vlogs. Actual writing happening, very exciting. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that. I post new videos 2 to 3 times a week. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and happy writing.